But when I sit alone at home, yesterday upon the stair, when I came home.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of We Are Not in Class Anymore, a video podcast produced by NABA, Nuova Accademia di Belle Arti. We are recording this first episode during the second edition of PLAI, the exhibition Playground showcasing at the Anteo Palazzo del Cinema in Milan from March 25th to March 27, 2025, the projects of the students of the two-year period specialized course in creative media production. I'm your host, Federico Bernocchi. I'm a movie critic, a journalist, and I teach creative writing for feature script writing at NABA. And as you can see, of course, I'm coming at you from my own private cinematic elsewhere. Today I'm joined by three brave students, Zhanel Mamytbek, Asya Günen, and Aleksandra Lavrova, and we are going to talk about movies. Hi girls, how are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your effort. Today we are going to talk about movies. I know you already chose your movie and this is going to be fantastic. So, as I said, the title of this podcast is We Are Not in Class Anymore. And it's a reference to one of the most famous quotes in cinema history. Of course, we are talking about the famous We Are Not in Kansas Anymore, said by Dorothy Gale, Judy Garland in the 1939 MGM masterpiece The Wizard of Oz, directed by Victor Fleming.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
So we chose this reference because today we are going to discuss what we end up calling the cinematic elsewhere. With our student, we are going to discuss movies. Movies that are so imaginative and creative that are able to create a cinematic elsewhere. So it's like a brand new world, completely different from the one we are presented in the first place in the movie. So the cinematic elsewhere is a fantasy world. Usually is a secret world, hidden to everyone except for the main characters, and to use a terminology proper to screenwriter is completely different from the world we are presented in the first act of the movie. So in order to enter the second act, the main character needs to find and to cross a threshold. So this may be a secret door hidden in a closet, a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, or a tornado so strong to fly an entire house in order to reach this cinematic elsewhere. But what's inside this cinematic elsewhere? How is different from the reality created by the movie? What are the rules in this new world? And finally, what does it mean and how it drives the whole story of the movie? Today we are going to try to get some answer to those questions, and of course we are going to do it with our students. We are going to start our discussion with Aleksandra Lavrova, who comes from Russia. She studied fashion design. That I guess it's her main interest, but now she's attending with great enthusiasm the first year of creative media design. So let's start with you, Aleksandra, if you're ready, and tell us what movie you picked today to talk about this idea of cinematic elsewhere.
Thank you, Federico. So I will start our podcast with a film, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, 2005, directed by Tim Burton and written by John August, and it was based on the children's novel by Roald Dahl. So this movie I think it's a really great example of cinematic elsewhere. Also, I can tell that Tim Burton, in my point of view, is master of elsewhere. And so I will start with a short video. Like, this is beginning of film, first scene. So now I will explain why I think it's very important scene, because already from beginning, Tim Burton put us in this unordinary world, some magical world. And so now I will explain more in details. First of all, the logo, which we can see, it's done in an ordinary way because it's done in the style of a movie. Like of a chocolate.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about the logo of the Warner Brothers?
Warner Bros, yes, right. So, like you can see in this picture, it's like golden wrapper of a chocolate, and also in other titles is done in this style. So after we can see how camera moves, and it's using spiral movement. And the key moment when we see this golden ticket with a light above, which already give us this sense of like we're coming to some magical world.
Okay.
And also, of course, music of Danny Elfman, which also helps us to go into this atmosphere. So
yes, you're right. Danny Elfman is a long-time collaborator of Tim Burton. They made, I guess, every movie, all the movie together.
Yeah, very good collaboration. And also the effect of spiral, which Tim Burton also liked to use in another film. Like here in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, we can see in the beginning like chocolate moving in this spiral way. When we see production in the fabric, everything going in this spiral way, which works like hypnosis. And also I can show some examples, just images from another movies, also cartoons, like Nightmare Before Christmas. It's not directed by Tim Burton, but he took a big part in this cartoon. Oh. So here you can see this heel in the form of spiral. Also in the cartoon it's moving. Then in Alice in Wonderland, in Alice in Wonderland it's not just one moment. Like here I show his cat who moving in this way. Also the trees moving in the spiral way. Also in when Alice going to an ordinary world, it was also done in spiral way. And when Frankenweenie, when he tried to make alive his dog, he was using light. And also it was moving in this way. So this method Tim Burton liked to use in a lot of his movies and cartoons. Then this is Harry's Journey of Charlie Basket. So like he was in his ordinary world. You can see here, which is very gray, depressive, also maybe like it's not a lot of colors here. It's like a little light. So also I can show short video.
He was not faster or stronger or more clever than other children. His family was not rich, or powerful, or well-connected. In fact, they barely had enough to eat. Charlie Bucket was the luckiest boy in the entire world. He just didn't know it yet.
And then, in one day, Willy Wonka told that he put 5 tickets in the whole world. So, with thanks to his ticket, you can going to his factory. And so, in this way, in cinematic elsewhere, this ticket became entrance in an ordinary world. So people who took this ticket have possibility to enter. Here, the moment when they coming to the factory.
Close the gates.
And here it's also very interesting because first when you saw like ordinary world, Tim Burton shows in the gray, dark colors. And here he doing in the contrast way. Like ordinary world is light, and when they come into the part of factory, it became dark. I think because dark is symbol of unknown, something unknown. And then it's the entrance, first entrance in an ordinary world. Then Willy Wonka opened this small door. And all visitors can see this. Okay. Oi. So, like you saw, it's very, he did in really huge contrasts between an ordinary world and ordinary. And it's very factory, it's place which is very colorful, like you can see chocolate ribbon, chocolate fountain, a lot of huge, some sweets. And first room, it's a chocolate room, how I said. And then, a very important moment, you see the workers of this factory. Because before all visitors came to this factory, it was like huge secret how this factory is working. Because like in the past, it was working normal people. And when somebody stole like secret receipt of Willy Wonka, he was closed. But after the factory was again working without people, and nobody understand how. So here we understand the secrets, and we see these like small persons which called Oompa Loompas.
Yes, exactly. We are talking about the Oompa Loompa, that one on the main character of the movie, one of the main characters.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And also it's interesting because it was just one actor, and it was done in the technical way, like, I don't know, copies of this person. And
okay, Aleksandra, I know we already talked about this, but let me point it out that this actor, the actor who played the Oompa Loompa, is an incredible actor. I want to say his name is Deep Roy. Is not, I mean, he was in 10,000 different movies, but it's not well known. Also because he's usually in mask. He was in the Never-Ending Story, where he was riding a snail. He was one of the band that played in the cantina in the first Star Wars in 1977, and of course it was the Oompa Loompa in this Tim Burton version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Amazing career, amazing actor.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And also because it's like 5 children, and every one of these children have some lessons in every room. And Oompa Loompas, always in the end of like when it's finished one room, they start to sing some song, which became like lesson song, but like kind of in positive way. Yes, and after it's like inventing room, where Willy Wonka and his Oompa Loompa, making some experience with recipes. For example, here they created gum. When you draw with, you can feel like breakfast, dinner, lunch. So you can just draw with and don't eat. So also we can see that in this factory it's happened some things, which is not going with normal rules of physics world. And after it's a nut room, also very interesting, because here workers became squirrels. And how I know it was real squirrels, which was training to do this. And then also I have a small video, which is again show with effect of spiral, like really short. And they how they singing, also dancing.
This was one of my favorite songs of the movie.
Really? That's positive. Yes, and then the last room, television room, which is show us like new technologies. We can call it kind of teleport, because he put like really huge chocolate in the center, and then it's teleport to a screen, to a small size. Like also here, yeah. So here you can see this process. And yeah, finally it went to a screen.
I didn't remember that there was like a 2001 A Space Odyssey reference in this movie, but yeah, I saw it. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and after I will speak also about old movie, firstly. And also the very important thing is the lift. Because this lift, which is going to all sides, like, I don't know, right, left, also in diagonal. And I think this lift is kind of portal between ordinary world and unordinary. Because from factory we're going to house of Charlie. And it's like very unusual thing. And after I want to speak a little bit about old movie, like it was.
Thank you so much, Aleksandra. I know you prefer this new version, the Tim Burton's one, but of course I'm way older than you guys, and so I'm very linked, I'm very attached to the original one with Gene Wilder. Yes, amazing actor. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay. Yeah, like first one film was realized in 1971 and directed by Mel Stewart. From a screenplay by Roald Dahl, like Roald Dahl, who wrote this book, who was also screenwriter of this movie. So here you can see some pictures, and already you can understand that it's really very different from Tim Burton movie, and also it's like more than 30 years difference. So also we can see this huge, step in technology, in the world of technology. Because here, of course, it was using more real decorations. So for me, it seems more like theater. And yeah, I can show a little piece. This is also a moment when they coming to the factory.
Boys and girls.
Like first step to an ordinary world. So, like, you can see it's more simple than in Tim Burton movie. Yeah. No, it's also colorful, but not like in Tim Burton movie. Because everything done by decoration, just decoration. With no effects. Yes.
Hold your breath.
The factories represent this elsewhere world, which works with its own rules, and also it's like Tim Burton did it in a very good visual way. like the visual way, you can see this difference, you can feel. Also, yes, music. Also, he was using some graphic, I think. And if speak about old one, like in my point of view, it's not really big difference between ordinary and an ordinary work in the visual way. I mean, it's like the same color, same light, just maybe it's changed decorations. Also, first you show. No, also, for example, you see Willy Wonka drinking, I don't know, water or something. He used like flowers. Or they doing, also it was different, room with squirrels in Tim Burton films. Here they produce chocolate eggs. So he totally changed his room. But I don't know, something like magical, maybe when they going in this boat, in the chocolate river, they try to use also different colors, like red, blue.
Okay, Aleksandra, so you chose a perfect example of cinematic elsewhere. So in the first act, we are presented with this gray, poor world, and then Charlie enters the chocolate factory and enters this cinematic elsewhere. So the chocolate factory is where anything can happen, different rules, different colors, different environment, and completely different. So this is a perfect example of cinematic elsewhere. Let me ask you something though. I know Tim Burton is one of your favorite director of all time, and is known to be a very dark director, but this movie seems like an exception because it's very funny. There are songs, it's a musical. Johnny Depp is it's hilarious with Deep Roy, the Oompa Loompa. So it's a funny movie. So do you think it's like an exception in Tim Burton's career, or also thinking about the original, do you think there's a dark side attached to the chocolate factory, to this cinematic elsewhere?
No, if I will speak about this movie of Tim Burton, no, yes, of course, you're right. He has this term of dark side, and also he likes using, in our movie, like Gothic style. And I think it's his lovely theme. But for me, it works in the way that you can go more deeply to the character of Harris, protagonist. And for example, if you speak about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it was like 5 children, and every of children like represent different vices, like greed or obsession. So also, I know some people speaking about Tim Burton like he's director more for children, but I think no. I think if you look more careful, you can understand that it's some meaning more deeply also for adults. So in my...
Let me ask you your colleagues. So Zhanel, Asya, have you ever seen this movie, the original one and the remake?
Yes.
Yes,
Tim
of
Burton.
course.
Of Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yes, couple of times when we are kids.
Yes.
Yes, I love it. I love Tim Burton's style a lot, yes.
We didn't talk about Johnny Depp. So what do you think about Johnny Depp in this movie? Because it's a very difficult character, Willy Wonka.
His game was really, I think, incredible, because he mixed like his evil side, and he mixed like a side of a person who thinks about children. So I think these are both sides. They're not like in life mixing together, but in this I don't know, in this movie, Johnny Depp, he did a really like great and incredible work.
I also agree with Zhanel, because I think he portrays a very good role in that movie, and also especially in also Tim Burton's characters. I think he also worked in Edward Scissorhands. He like portrays a really good a character at also, and that in that movie. So I think he is really suitable, that movie also, yeah.
Of course, it's impossible to talk about Tim Burton without talking about Johnny Depp. So the two are linked. Johnny Depp is basically Tim Burton's alter ego. He's in not every, but a lot of Tim Burton's movie. He was in Edward Scissorhands. He was in my favorite Tim Burton movie, Ed Wood, Sleepy Hollow, and of course this Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, so Aleksandra, I have another question for you about this movie. So what do you think is the meaning of this cinematic elsewhere? So what do you think is the meaning of the Chocolate Factory?
I mean, it's this elsewhere cinematic represent maybe inside world of Harris, because I don't know, like it's if you look for these Hours for Children, not of Charlie, all of them had some like vices inside. And this factory like show their vices in a very bright way. So I don't know, maybe it's something like I don't know, not karmic things, but like past lesson of life. Like we don't know if they change or no, but I think that Tim Burton wanted to change some psychological aspect in this movie also, and also think that he did like different from first old movie, that he showed story of Willy Wonka. So because he makes some flashback to his childhood, and thanks to it you can understand why he is like this. So we know that he had some trauma of his father. He didn't have a really good relationship with his father. But in the end of the movie, he resolved this problem.
Okay, could it be this idea, the purity, the untouchable joy that you feel when you are a kid and your dreams are big, are huge. So you dream to become someone as famous, as important as Willy Wonka, that is the most famous person in the world. So Willy Wonka and Charlie they seem linked. They probably are the same person at the end, if you think about it. So do you think that Willy Wonka gave Charlie the factory because he recognized himself in him?
Yes, it's right. No, I think because Charlie and Willy Wonka, like what think we say in between there, it's passion about... No, I don't know about Charlie, like Willy Wonka, passionate about what he's doing, his business, I can tell. But also Charlie is a child who is very alive, very energetic. And finally, I think they give also each other like this puzzle which was missed. Like Charlie gave to Willy Wonka this importance of family, because he was really like, just care about his career.
Okay, you're right. Thank you so much, Aleksandra. That was amazing, and again, a perfect example of cinematic elsewhere. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to talk with another student of a different movie and a different cinematic elsewhere. So we are going to talk with Zhanel Mamytbek. She's from Astana, Kazakhstan, and she completed bachelor's degree in St. Petersburg with a degree in graphic design in media. And at the moment, she's studying at NABA in a degree in creative media production, second year, and she would like to become a music video maker. Having said so, she chose a very different movie from the psychedelic and funny musical of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Zhanel, what is the movie and what is the idea of cinematic elsewhere? Please.
Thank you, Federico. So I choose this